What's up, guys? Hope all of you are doing well today. In this video, we'll be taking a look at multiples and lowest common multiple, because we need to know how to do this if we want to do equivalent fractions and addition and subtraction in fractions. So let's get to this. And this is probably a familiar concept to many of you, because especially if you memorized the times table somehow, because I know it wasn't easy for me at first. So let's get to it. So we'll use our same definition, similar definition to what we did with factors. So let n represent any integer value. We'll just say any whole number. So let n represent any whole number. So a multiple of n, so we'll choose 2 for example, is any number that results when n, or that number, so 2, is multiplied by an integer value. Get it? It's like our multiplication table, because the word multiple comes from multiplication, and it's basically it's what we see in the multiplication table. And of course, multiples are always whole numbers. It can be positive or negative, but they have to be whole numbers, not fractions, similar to what we did in factors. And even though we use it for fractions, multiples themselves are not fractions at all. So let's take a look. So for example, multiples of 2, and 0 is a multiple to all numbers, because any number times 0 gives you 0. So 0 is a multiple to all numbers, just to make that clear, because a lot of people forget that. So 2, what are multiples of 2? Basic, even negative 2 works too, because 2 times negative 1 is also a multiple of 2, because multiples can be whole, and multiples can be it's any number multiplied, multiplied by its if you multiply that number by any whole number, it can be positive or negative, then that number is also that product is also a multiple as well. Negative 2 is what we can start from there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and the list goes. And if you know your basics timetable, the list goes on. Because I just multiplying that number by all the integers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the list goes on. And it doesn't have to stick with our basic times table, the 12 by 12 times table. Even for 2 times 20, 40. 20 is also 1. It's in our 12 times 12 table. 40 also works. 100 also works, because 2 times 50 gives you 100. So 100 is also a multiple of 2. So anything so basically it comes back to our definition. A multiple of n of any integer value is any number that results, or is a product, because product is the result of a multiplication problem. When n, I just put 2 here because that's the number we use, for example, when n is multiplied by another integer value. And that's multiples for you. So continuing on to the multiple of this video, we have now common multiple, lowest common multiple, and this is very important, especially when we're trying to find equivalent fractions or equivalent fractions as well. So especially when we're doing operations with them. So common multiple, it's the same thing as common factor. We list the multiples. We'll list the multiples here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Basically 2 times each of the integer positive. We're just going to look at positives for now, because in fractions, you're not going to have a negative fraction. That's why I'm looking at positive numbers in this scenario. But we'll look 16. We'll go up to 12. We'll see 2, 4 from here. So we have the full multiple 12 up to 12. The 12 multiples of 2 and 6. So we listed them. So let's figure out which are common here. 2, no. 4, no. 6, yes, we have a 6. We have a 12. 24 is common. So 24 is, I think, the highest we can go. Because since 24 is high, even though we have more numbers here, and they could also be common for this one, but since we stopped at the 12, up to 12 multiples, we'll say that these are the three. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3. So we have three common multiples. Actually, no, we have a few here. So in here we have to look now at the lowest common multiple, and we need the lowest common multiple because in some cases we will have to find the common denominator for like addition, subtraction, because we have to sometimes make them the same denominator. So multiple, lowest common multiple. So in this, let's just look at this case. So lowest is not greatest common multiple. So we found the common multiples. I'll just circle them because I kind of lost track of it too. 6, 12, 18, 24. And these could be common, but since we stopped at 12, it stays there. Since I circle. So which one here is the lowest common denominator? So 2, even though 2 would be the lowest here, but 2 doesn't come here. 4 doesn't. 6 comes. 6 comes. So you get it? So 6 are both of this. So for 2 and 6, the common, so for 2 and 6, the LCM would be 6. And for this one, doesn't change. The lowest common multiple of 6 is 6. So this would be useful, as I sort of said I would explain later, when you're trying to add fractions and you need to find, and they have different denominators. How would you add them? They're not the same. Totally different. Some might think, oh, you could just add this. You could do like that. But that doesn't work in fractions. I think that works in multiplication and division. You'll know that. I'll explain that for sure. So in certain cases, we would have to find the lowest common multiple in order to find the sum for two fractions. And also, you would know that in the next video where I explain equivalent and simplifying, you will know that this and this are both the same. So that's pretty much it for lowest common multiple. In our next video, we'll be taking a look at equivalent fractions and simplifying fractions. Basically, what we learned in the last two videos, we'll put them into play with the equivalent fractions and simplifying fractions. So thank you very much once again for watching this video. We will meet again in the next one. Thank you.